We're live. Woo. Come on, camera. Okay. Waiting. Let everybody get on, and I've got all of your assumptions here ready to go. I think I have them all together. Hey guys, let me know if it is coming through. Hey Gina, live chat. I gotta get it to, okay. Is it coming through okay? Internet okay? Hopefully so. Hey everybody. I made lots of little notes from all of the assumptions that got sent in. I think I've got them all together. Give everybody some time to get on, say hey. Is it coming through okay, you guys? YouTube is not notifying of your live. What the heck, YouTube? YouTube is so weird lately. I don't know, like, morning, Tiffany. Hey, Lisa. I don't know if it's because, like, on the creator side of YouTube, like, everything's in beta mode because they're rolling out, they have been for months now, this, like, new way of doing things. And I don't know if, like, it's affecting stuff, but we have, like, weird things happen with comments and posting and all kinds of things. So YouTube's weird. Good morning, Tamara. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully we'll give everybody some time. Yeah. Hey, Shannon. Yeah, I feel like I can tell sometimes when YouTube isn't notifying or things like that, because I'll sit here and I'm like, that's weird. Nobody's on. Okay, that's okay. I guess we don't have to have anybody on, but then all of a sudden it works. So that's weird. We will give it a few minutes, kind of chit chat and catch up. I'm waiting on Brandon. Need him up here so we can do this. He was trying to finish getting ready. It didn't notify you either. Hey, that's so weird. Morning, Sherry. Good morning, guys. Well, and it's so silly because it's like it tells you to go and subscribe and tap the little bell so that way it ensures, because that's what's frustrating, because if you subscribe, that doesn't mean you get notified of anything. So it's like, I subscribe because I want to know what's happening on this person's channel. Why don't you tell me? And then it says, well, you have to tap the little bell so that we'll tell you. And it's like, okay, so you do that and it still doesn't tell you. That's frustrating. Hey, Tamara's popped up. At least that one worked. I feel like it's very hit or miss. It's frustrating. But that's cool. We'll go ahead and just kind of chit chat, catch up a little bit while we wait on Brandon. And that gives everybody an opportunity to be like, hey, it's past noon. I wonder if the live started. And then they'll be like, oh, it didn't notify me. I have to get on myself. Hey, Heather. Good morning. So this one's going to be fun. Brandon does not even know what all of the assumptions are. I even got Lex to get... She shared it and she was like, I have my assumptions of you guys, but they're like 20 years old and probably doesn't fit. And oh my gosh, Cami had a seizure right before you went live. Oh my gosh. Can you guys all please lift Cami up in prayer? That is Sherry and Jonathan's little girl. Is she okay? That's awful. Honey, I am so sorry. Yeah, and Shannon, same thing. Mine didn't pop up, so I decided to check. Well, we'll give everybody a few minutes to do this. I'm so sorry, Sherry. That is so awful. Poor Cami, their family is just awesome and we love them. That's why we want all of you to come over and visit with us. But so we can get to know you all. Marco Polo is so cool getting to chit chat with you guys. I love doing that. But we got the opportunity to meet Sherry and Jonathan and their daughters. And we just adore them and love them. And Cami is like the sweetest thing ever. The girls just adore her. We were doing Marco Polos yesterday, sharing videos of one another's chickens and such. Hey, you want to come say hi? Yeah. You can come say hi. We've started the live though. Virginia's here.
But is my day being great? This is her.
Okay. Did you put lip gloss like all over your eyelids and such? Yeah.
I thought it would look nice.
You thought it would look nice because I put not lip gloss on mine. There you go. Very cool. Mm-hmm. They got to split a lip gloss thing yesterday, so they're having fun. Yeah, Brandon's right. Things like that make me really hate this world. Exactly. Yeah. Seeing the sickness and suffering, that just
This morning I didn't like.
Hey, Christy.
Hey, Christy.
So we asked you all to send in your assumptions of me, of Brandon, of our family, of all the things in general. And I'm going to share with you guys why I wanted you to send them in. But we got a lot of them. Brandon doesn't even know what all of them are, which makes it super fun. I really wanted to do a video because I thought it would be a good video. Somebody hates video and they didn't want to do that. So we started to podcast on it yesterday, but then when we got started, he was like, you know what, you're right. I think seeing like facial expressions to this would be perfect. Why don't we do it on the live? And I thought that was a great idea. So you guys can add in your thoughts as we go too. But it was really fun to see the responses we got. Lex had messaged me and she was like, well, I know my assumptions of you guys, but they're like 20 years old. And I said, that's okay. I think you should still share them because that's kind of hilarious. Lily's here. Update on Lily's hair. I must have done something wrong or something. I don't know. And we've got a little bit of purple tint, but it did not come out like purple. So we'll try again later, but that's okay. Look at your lip gloss.
Yeah, it's like $1 and it shows as much. It looks like lipstick.
Yeah.
It's $1.
$1.
Pickle has it all over her eyebrows.
Yes.
And I look like you.
You're so cute. Did you brush your teeth today?
I did you a ball.
Okay. You gotta brush your teeth though.
Yeah, we just wait.
Scrub teeth. I didn't send mine because I already told y'all. Well, and it's funny because not really, Gina, but it needed to be done. $1. Yep, you gotta love it. It was $1. There was 2 in a pack, so they were able to split it. Gina says, "I wonder if Brandon feels it's a great idea too."
Yeah.
Yeah, I think things. I know he gets away with a lot of things with his podcast, but I'm like, I don't know. I think you need. Hey, Karen. I think we need video for some of these. And I keep getting on him. I'm like, honey, like we put out a Romans study today. He's going to start doing, do Romans. We also want to lift up Karen's little girl, Tessa. She woke up with a crazy migraine this morning. So it seems like,
poor Tessa.
yeah, the kiddos are really having a hard time.
What happened?
We bleached it, but we didn't bleach it light enough is our problem. I thought it was going to be light enough that the purple would show up, not like crazy bright, but brighter. And apparently it's not. So we got to work on that. I thought it would be, but we were wrong. And the color of bleach is important, which you guys, I don't dye hair, so I don't know all of the cool things. So we will try again.
I'll have to get Sabrina over here and she'll have to do my hair.
Yes, Sabrina, just come over and do Lily's hair. Come on.
It's not
now.
like you have things to do. But you have a thing to write on like cat.
Okay. So we don't need any more animals over here.
Yeah, we did. I
Okay, good. Sabrina's willing. Sabrina, come on over. Come on. You, hubby, kiddos, load up and come on over. Bring the critters.
Say hi.
No, okay. We need to be quiet because Travis trying to put Ollie to sleep, okay? What was I going to say?
You're going to say cats. I love cats.
That's not what I was going to say. I'm going to have to send you guys out of here so that I can do this because I can't think straight.
We never won.
Okay, so a few thoughts before we start jumping into setting up this assumption stuff, and hopefully Brandon will show up here soon. Hint, hint, wink, wink. We do this today. So church tomorrow at noon, which Brandon is getting prepared for, super excited. And then he has got every Saturday he's working through this Romans study. So every Saturday we'll put up a Romans video. Monday I've got another one for the Heavenly Minded Homemaker. We'll probably do a couple podcasts throughout the week. And then Brandon's also started that study going through John MacArthur's Christ Called Reform the Church. So every Wednesday we'll put out a new chapter going through that Christ Called to Reform the Church, just talking about the state of the church today and looking biblically at these things. So that'll go out every Wednesday. And then of course, Wednesday evenings, we had such a blast at the prayer gathering and would love for you guys to come and join us at the prayer gathering. Like it was fun. Not like we exploded things. Hey, Raylan.
No, I meant like what?
Let's see. June I'm looking at all the fun hairs. That's funny. Watching while grocery shopping through Walmart. See, just like Brandon said, just put us in your pocket and you can listen as you go. But we've got a lot of cool things going up. We are somehow going to get back on track with our homeschool vlogs this week. So wish us luck there. I am trying to get the 3rd month of the curriculum put together and out. I wish my life would cooperate so I could get these things done on a more timely manner, but God's got it. And I am trusting him that somehow all of the things will work out just right. So I know you guys are waiting on me. I am waiting on me. So I'm trying. So all that's coming out, but for sure join us Wednesday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern time for prayer gathering. Saturday, obviously noon here for the live, and then Sunday noon for home church. And then Roman study going up. Brandon's going to try to get back on track with the little Psalm Day studies. And then Christ Call to Reform the Church on Wednesdays. And then fun videos. I think that's all the things we're working on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I be prideful and show a fan trick I do?
Ooh, look at Lily's fan trick.
Ooh.
Very cool.
I'm sorry.
No, well, we don't be prideful, but it is cool that you're working on your fan.
Mama.
My kids have been asking, when are we going to get to do Bible again? And I blame that on you.
Yeah, Mom.
To be honest, the past month has not gone how I wanted it to go. So yeah, I'm not very happy that they're not done either, but we're trying. So I guess I'll start to set it up, and hopefully Brandon will be up here by the time I'm done because I really have nothing else to share. But I wanted to share and do this. Oh no, Lisa, I hope you're okay. That's so weird that the pistachios are bothering you like that. That's so weird.
What are pistachios?
Do you have any activated charcoal, maybe? Take some of that.
What are
That's really weird.
pistachios?
It's a type of nut. You know, they're the green ones that you pop open that you were looking at.
Pistachios.
I don't know. They're bothering her. Brandon, you're the whole reason why we're doing this. I don't know what else you want me to do while I wait for you. Yeah,
King.
I need. Yeah, try taking a Benadryl. It's weird if it's never bothered you before. Yeah, I need more than 24. Well, I need to wake up earlier and just work more.
Oh.
But I have a baby who likes to sleep until way too late, and it's hard to wake up when you've got a curled up, snuggly baby sleeping with you. So we're working. We're trying.
Yeah, that's why we need to move her in our room.
We're trying to. Well, I think we just have new things that have kind of been shifted in on our plates, which are great, and I'm super thankful for. But just trying to like balance the juggling.
Yeah, but
We're
all you need
struggling
to do
a
is
little
put
bit.
her crib by Virginia's bed. I can move in all of her toys.
Mhm. Yeah, and then Brandon tried to die on me. That is for real. That's who we should be
Yeah,
blaming.
Dad, why
Like,
did you try to die on her?
I know.
Oh,
You know, he's so rude and inconsiderate
yeah,
sometimes.
Dad.
Totally kidding.
Sure.
Um,
Trying to die on
I
her
will say that as thankful as I am, obviously, that he is now much better off than he was a few weeks ago. Weight of trying to like emotionally process through, he should have been dead within 48 hours from that Wednesday afternoon, is I think a lot more to process through than I realized. But like when you hear the doctors say these things and then you're just like, oh my gosh, like trying to process through all of that stuff.
Oh no, Dad's here. I can't be in the live anymore.
It takes a little bit to process through. So Brandon's really the inconsiderate one here that everybody should be upset about that things aren't done.
Yeah,
I've
Dad.
got nothing to do until you show up. So I'm just like randomly blurting out.
I've been working all week.
What does that have to do with you being here on time?
Nothing about that. I was talking about earlier what you said.
Let me stand this up and then I will explain to you guys
Bye.
why I really wanted to do this assumption. Sorry, close up of my face. That's kind of weird. All right, stand this up. So you can't sit. Like a lot of chins going when I turn my head that way. That's fine. Girls, your dad's calling you. I'm assuming they did something bad, is my guess. And I think the dog just took off. Okay. You guys left the dog out there. You guys both came in, you left the dog outside. So now she's doing bad things. Okay, we'll get ready. He's got to go track the dog back in. See, homey things happen. So you guys will have to hang tight with us because now bad things are happening outside. Oh, okay. Let me pull up the message. So somebody sent in, and this is what I think is cool. Somebody sent in a message to us a long time ago. It's been quite a while now. And I'm so thankful she did. And we're so thankful to have gotten to know her now. And I'm just very thankful for it because there is such a cool way that getting to be anonymous on the internet can give you a sense of like boldness that maybe normally you wouldn't have. And
Good night. I'm here already.
about time. 15 minutes late. But she sent us a message. It's been so long too. I'm trying to find it and I can't find it. Basically saying, hey, when I first found you, I really didn't like you. And I never would be this bold, in person, but because this is on the internet, I feel like I can share this with you. I really didn't like you. I really didn't like the things you said, the things you did, but for some reason I stuck around. And I just, the more I stuck around for some reason, God had been calling me and laying stuff on my heart. And these were the things that you were saying. I just didn't like to hear them at first. And she shared her assumption with us.
Hey, Tamara. Sorry, I don't know why I can't see comments. Why can you not see comments? You
You
hit
could
something.
just a minute ago, did I?
There you go. There you go.
Okay, that's weird. Hi, Brandon. Yeah, fashionably late, dramatic entrance. Yeah, that's Brandon.
Hello, old man.
We're on Brandon
Okay,
time.
now I'm now seeing all
Mhm.
these.
Doing dishes while okay, now they're all coming up. You didn't miss him because Brandon took forever. And Lex, I told him I'm going to share your 20 years ago assumption.
Yeah, Tiff.
That's for real. You need to get him in
Good
there.
night. Get him. Yeah, go in there.
Everybody,
Is
take
he
your husband.
on? Seriously, dude. If you're hot, go in
Mhm.
because if you wait, it's not a good thing. So
Everybody, take your husbands in and check their gallbladders.
look at Alexa's comment. B just likes to be the center of attention.
Lord, don't we know that?
Everybody that knows me knows that's true.
And for real, that's why I'm sharing the food stuff that I'm sharing on our Hey Jennifer. That's why I'm sharing the
Yeah.
stuff that I'm
No,
sharing
like
on Monday.
tell him I said he must go because it can kill you.
Yeah.
Like before you know it.
Look up the how not to die stuff because for real. So this person had sent in all of this, right? And I was like, well, I just have to ask, like, that's way cool that God is speaking to you and moving with you. But I have to ask, like, what was it about us that, like, what was it about me that you didn't like, right? When somebody says, hey, I'm watching your stuff and I'm sticking around for some reason, but the truth be told, I don't really like you and the things you're saying. And so this was the first like assumption we got. And we laughed so hard when we read it. And this person even was like, now that I'm getting to know you better, like, get how hilarious this is. But she said, I dismissed you as a very conservative Christian removed from the realities of this world. That was the first one we got. And we were like, that's so funny. Because I feel like that's like, couldn't be further from the truth of that's crazy. And so getting to know this person now, like we so appreciate her. And that's just so funny that's, but that's what kind of got us thinking.
It's funny because the realities of this world is what made us the way that we are now.
What makes us do what this is, but it's the true realities of this world. See, I thought that too.
That's pretty funny.
But that's what's so funny is because we've gotten so many messages about these things and people are like, I totally thought this, or totally just brushed you off as that. And everybody's like, see, there you go. So that's where some of these are kind of silly, fun ones. And then some are kind of for real. Yeah, people think like, oh, you're so conservative or so this or that. Oh, I saved something on this phone that I wanted to share in response to one of these, and now I don't have it. Oh, well. That's why I'm sharing the things we're doing, because there are even a lot of changes that Brandon has been like, about. But now when you're like, oh, wow, I should be dead right now, these changes are
I'm all
cool.
about the doctor now because like I just wanted to have everything checked out after I got out. And I don't want to ever get that sick again. That was just awful. I was literally going through hell. So, I mean, yeah, if my hospitalization and all that could make Mike go and get that all checked out, then definitely, because man.
Lisa, you did tell me that. You're right. Severe you told me you probably should. I remember that now since you said that. Well, I hope you feel better because that's for real. Okay. I'm going to start going through the assumptions and then we'll peek up to see. I'm sure you guys will probably laugh. First assumption, we're Jewish. Get that a lot.
Oh yeah.
Are
Just
you guys
because.
Jewish or some weird denomination or movement.
Right. Yeah, or some cult or
Some cult.
yeah, some movement.
We get that one a lot. And I get it because
And I get it because we talk about that.
well, and
we stress the importance
Christianity
of it.
overall has worked very hard to remove all things Jew from Christianity, which
Which is
makes
stupid.
no biblical sense
I mean,
whatsoever.
it literally, when you read the Bible, it's literally just, I mean, it's stupid not to.
And in the phase that we have to look forward to, that's what everything goes back to being. When you start talking about the feasts and people think they're so weird, and then you're like, you realize we'll be celebrating this with Jesus in Jerusalem. Like literally, do you get that? And people are like, no, that's not true. And then you start looking through scripture and it's like, oh,
You can
That's
you
weird.
can thank the Catholic Church for that. You can thank even some of the reformers, most of the reformers for that, actually.
so that's a big one we get. Are you Jewish? Or some weird random like thing off of that.
Yeah, think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jesus
he was
is
he was a
Jewish.
Jew.
This is a Jewish thing that we've been grafted into. So, but we get that a lot with the things are just some weird. Or people ask and say, "Hey, are you like a Christian or
Wow, we
what?"
literally got asked that the other day.
Yeah,
Are you Christian? I was like,
Christian. It's like yes, that
I
should be
mean,
so
I would-
apparent, but I get it.
I guess I missed something.
We will dive deeper into this one, but just an overall view of absolutely,
Yeah.
literally hold on, what do I
That was a good one.
binge watch to see what you believe? Because I really love the things you said and did, but I didn't dare want to keep watching if you were worshiping
I'm
weird.
glad that you had discernment. I am.
Which you should. You
Yeah,
should weigh
absolutely.
everything everyone says, and I wish more people had discernment. But yeah, people are like, I thought you were some like weird, funky something. Yeah. We'll dive into this one a little bit more, but that overall that we just have a perfect life, perfect home, perfect
Huh.
marriage.
What?
He's like, no,
That's
she's
pretty
awful.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, like Sabrina said, people think, well, you're not Christian like me, so what
So
are you?
right.
Right, because if
Exactly.
you're not just Sunday Christian or American Christian, right, you've bought into this American gospel, then it's like, that's weird. Kara, I thought you would kill me in your basement. Haha, no. So, yes, we'll dive deeper into this one, but if we've put out an illusion that we've got the perfect get up of all of the things and everything is perfect and our marriage is perfect and Brandon never thinks I'm a sucky wife and I don't ever, yell at my kids or leave my house a mess or things like that, for real.
Oh, Heather was just talking about Cammy again. I don't know what it was, Sherry. It was crazy this morning. I literally was right down there by the mailbox when I was like praying over it, and I had a thought about Cammy and Sherry and John, the
We were
family.
talking about this
And it was thank you.
very
Um,
close.
We were talking about you guys, I think, was it
This
this morning
morning, yeah.
before I went on my walk? Did you
Okay,
say
Heather, I will. Yeah, we're talking about
Okay,
this
so I guess that's what it was. And it just got me thinking, like, I don't know. I think I've had a rough past couple days just personally, but I think it's just all these things are just kind of hitting me. I'm just kind of feeling all of them at once, everything that's going on with everybody. Especially that was just crazy. Like
Cammy had a seizure.
Yeah,
Sherry and
I'm
Jonathan's
sorry.
little girl, she had a seizure right before the live started. So we want to lift up Cammy in prayer. Tessa, Karen's little girl, she woke up with migraine today. And then it's Sabrina's little girl, Abby, she's still dealing with the possible torn ACL. So
but I was
all
like,
the kids seem
I
to
was
be getting
thinking
it.
about it and praying about it because I was just like, as a parent, like, I don't know, you don't realize how strong you are to deal with, to be able to have the strength to deal with that, because like that terrifies something like me. Like I know I could do it, and God would lead us through any situation,
The
but I
thought
mean
of
that
that,
just
yeah.
the thought of that is terrifying, and it's just so unfair. The fact that you have to watch a child go through that. And that just was really hitting me hard. And I was thinking about it. And then I saw that you said that about her seizure. And I was like, oh my, this
was
is
just
exactly what I
thinking
was
about
just thinking about. I
She's the
don't know.
cutest thing too. I just
She
love her.
is. And that just, it just pisses me off. I hate this world. I really do.
Okay, so I don't know what
Um,
this pepper and pine thing is. I gotta go check this out later that Heather was talking about.
Just
All the
something like that
kiddos,
just
yeah.
really ticks me off, man. I hate it.
So
All right, let's
On
do funny
a-
stuff now.
light note,
But I'm
This
praying for
came
you guys.
in from multiple people that were hippie-ish. I get that.
Yeah,
I get that assumption.
I definitely get that. That would crack me up, man. I liked it. I was like, I'm good.
I hope that's how we come
Good,
up.
I'm glad.
Yeah, and I don't know if some people that sent that in meant that in like a good way, and some meant it in like supposed to be like
way.
a jab, like
Yeah.
a mean way. And in a lot of ways, I'm not saying the hippie movement is biblically sound and correct, obviously, but in
They've got a lot of good
a
ideas.
lot of ways, it's like, well, I don't agree
I
with you.
think that would have been a group that Paul would have definitely went and preached to because he would have
Like,
seen
you've got it in
potential.
so many
Yeah, he would
ways.
have been a good group to go preach to because they had great
Yeah,
potential.
my husband thought that too. I seriously was like, yeah,
Yeah,
I think
that's
that oh yeah, I haven't gotten to watch it yet, Karen, but I'm sure it's fantastic. I can't wait to listen
Yeah.
through it. But yeah, I think we overall kind of get that very hippie vibe and feel, and in many ways, probably pretty spot on with that one.
Yeah, yeah, I think we're guilty of that. But peace, love, and happiness, but with deodorant.
Yeah, deodorant and showering, we have that.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was the next one kind of that leads into this, that Lily's hair is just always a hot mess, that we don't wash Lily's hair, that Lily must just be like stinky and gross,
Yeah.
things like that. I did post a dreadlock video this week. A lot of the assumptions had to do with Lily and her hair and are just
Which
way
is so
we go
funny
about that
because
anyways.
I'm a personal hygiene freak, and that
He
just
is like a total
that-
germaphobe. You guys
that-
have no idea.
that goes on to them too,
We're
though.
clean
Like
hippies.
like my kids can't be disgusting. Ugh,
Yeah.
it's gross.
Yeah. So I'll have to check that out, Heather. So yeah, a lot of them had
So
to-
what is a hippie vibe?
Yes. So I guess
I guess just
everything's
enjoying
natural
God's
and-
creation and living apart from the world. I guess that's and that's what gives the out of touch.
Mhm.
You, you get that a lot.
Because
You're
you're not
like,
wrapped up in the world.
no, I'm not out of touch. I just decide
That's
to
why, I'm
put it
very
away.
much in touch. That's why I've stepped away from it. We don't do that.
He's sleeping.
So yeah, if any of you had assumptions about Lily, our oldest daughter, and questions with her hair and things like that, I did a whole one that discussed all of that. Yeah, all of the men, well, your sister too, but in his family, like I think all of us wives can be showered and ready and out the door in like a fraction
I've gotten
of
better
the time.
since I've gotten older.
He's gotten better,
But a few showers.
they're a mess.
Going back to what Sabrina said, yes, dreadlocks are awesome. And what we don't really care about what anybody else says because Lily actually understands what it's about and what it means and what that means for
We
their
discussed
culture.
these assumptions with her.
Yeah,
that people
like
have about her.
she understands what the Rastafarians believe, and she understands where their false Christ is that they believe, but she understands
And
also
many
that
different cultures have
Yeah.
dreadlocks. It's not
it's not just that. Like you said, Vikings, they go all
Yeah,
across.
did I hear dreadlocks?
But she actually understands more about the actual meaning behind it, and it's for a 9-year-old is like extremely like enlightened on these things, and she realizes the kind of the rebellious type nature of it where it goes against the grain of the world, and that's why she's kind of like
People
into
have
it.
this attitude.
I
toward it.
was gonna say that "March It On" song by Ayatera. It's kind of like a dreadlock rebel song.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
She loves it.
She loves it. James live for the world. I don't give a crap. So
So some more fun ones. That we have debt. I think a lot of people do. And we, it's funny because I get that that's a norm. And I think that's why some people are like, oh, that's why you're so, you do these certain things because you're just stuck in all this debt. But for us, we don't really believe in mortgages. We've never really had credit. We've never really used credit.
our car will be paid off.
Our
this
car's
year.
almost paid off, which I'm thankful. We did take out a loan when we got that. It served the purpose for our business and what we did. It does not serve our purpose anymore. I would love to be able to trade it in and just get like a paid off van and be done with it. We have a little bit left in there, and then we have a little
Yeah, it really
bit-
stinks living the life that we have now and then driving a Mercedes. It's It's
like
really weird. And it's
when
like
we
we
had
bought it when we could afford it, and
Yeah.
when we were living a completely different type of life, and
it was a
it served its purpose. And I love our car,
it's
but
a good car. Yeah, it's a great car. But yeah, that a little bit left on our car is all we have. We don't use credit cards. We don't have anything like that.
we have a little bit, but it's nothing.
Yeah,
nothing
and a
serious.
little bit that like our landlord has been gracious and he'll like cover stuff for us when we can't always pay everything. And so like obviously we owe him and we'll
I
pay
think
him
we've
back.
got like
But
what 2 credit cards?
2 old credit cards that we had when we were like, living the high life. And we're like, hey, maybe we should focus on building up our credit and doing these things. But that's it. No plan to ever take out a mortgage, do stuff like that. If the Lord,
Yeah, let's
gives us
just
a
say, I
way
mean,
to-
like we could easily pay off our debt. I think with like $10,000.
yeah. So
Say hello to England, everybody.
Hey, we're now in international live. Let's see. I was grasping at straws for assumptions. I don't feel like I assume a lot about people. Debt felt like it would be an assumption that people would think when you just live by faith, and so I did that. Yeah, that's absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Because I think, and we got it from a couple other
Live
people
by
too.
faith, by credit cards and loans.
Yeah, but that's what.
No, we don't have any money.
And that's what I think these were good, because I know a lot of people were scared to send in assumptions, but then when we started getting some, like other people were like, oh yeah, I totally have thought that too.
I just would never.
But I think that's the
That's
norm.
surprising one is debt.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah,
I
you don't
guess.
need credit if you don't want to be in debt. And that's for us. We had a little period of our time where we made good money and we thought that's what we wanted to do. And we'd have to go the mortgage route. And then now we're like, yeah, no, we were right not to, want to do that anyways. So
But we were always young and never made a whole ton of money.
Mhm.
So we just rented and bought everything that we had.
Okay. A lot of the responses overwhelmingly were, you guys are awesome and I want to be neighbors.
That's cool.
And we think that's awesome. And we would love for you all. I'm telling you, whatever the Lord might have in store, but if there were a way that we could travel around to see you guys, or the idea of getting some little piece of property that we could put some little cabins on, and it could be like a unplug from the world and into the word, and we could have like family fellowship and counsel and all of that stuff. The next assumption is one that we get the most often. And again, it kind of goes along the lines with the one I started with. But I thought that bluntness was rudeness, that we were just rude and mean
can
about
see
things
that.
with how we're blunt. Then realized everything you said was out of love for the truth.
Mhm.
And so often,
I feel
that's
like
what
I've
comes out.
clarified that so much.
But
so-
it's what we get the most.
Yeah.
I mean, we get emails about
It's
it
not-
constantly, YouTube comments about it constantly. When people come and they start hearing the stuff, and it's like, whoa, you're over here claiming to be Christian, but yet you're saying all these things that go against our like Christian American norm, and you're so blunt and so unwavering in these things.
Well, what it is
Call
too
it
is
this
Christians
stuff.
don't like the finger being turned back on them, so that makes them very, very.
It's easy
violent.
to
It's
sit
like,
here and judge
the
the
world,
world, but we're
yes.
supposed to be judging
But
the
then when
body
we
of
say,
Christ.
whoa, let's pull us back and let's take a look at this before we do anything.
Yeah.
And people just freak out.
Yeah. And that's where we've gotten the assumptions that like we are anti-American, we hate veterans, we do not support, all of these things. That's where
Yeah.
those assumptions that we get from people that are just really awful and nasty.
Yeah, it's really messed up for people.
But that's
that,
where that usually
I definitely understand, but whenever I talk about anything like that, I make sure to over clarify my meaning in it, just so that doesn't happen. But it doesn't matter how many times you
No.
say something.
Well, people hear what they want to hear. Why does my messages keep going away?
Mm.
That's so weird. Our house isn't crazy. It takes a time.
Give us a second, people.
Yeah, hold on.
Wait for us to oddly stare at you.
Yeah, everybody having to deal with the debt. Debt stinks, man. That's why I just try not to. Yeah, Lisa, totally. Yeah, it's like hippies are great on like so many ways until you start bringing in like the LSD and all the crazy stuff.
Yeah,
And
we
it's
don't
like,
want LSD.
not that stuff.
Yeah, we're not
All
your ass.
right, Raylan, catch up later. Okay, LSD super. Sorry, I don't know why it's not showing us as we go. It does for a while, and then it goes.
Yeah, sorry guys, we're just staring at you for a couple more minutes.
Hold, please. I know you guys. I'm telling you, the
No,
tiny
truth
home, the
does
little
hurt.
things.
You're right, Tiff.
Tamara, that is so sweet and kind.
I
Why
didn't
does
see
it
that.
not show us these? Is
Travis. Okay, so yeah, I'm guessing. Lex says Travis and I laugh at that one. I think that one's the.
Oh, boldness and
Yeah.
stuff. Why we do want to do a podcast about military
Yeah.
political stuff specifically because people assume that we just like hate
Yeah.
veterans and we have no
I
experience
really,
here. And we're like,
yeah. So tell Travis to, well, not that he really needs to be prepared because that could just be a conversation that we have. But I thought it would be really.
well, look at right here. I was a little unsure about the politics patriotism. I was raised in a super USA pride home. You guys, us too. His family photo album, I'm not kidding, growing up, had a portrait of Ronald Reagan on the first page, like before you even got to the family
Yeah,
photos.
they were extremely.
And they
like,
still are.
Yeah.
Most of them.
And I've always been kind of anti. I grew up in that type of home, and that stuff always bugged me. Even though I played the part for a little bit, but for the most part, it really bugged me.
Are we still breaking up? Is the man buffering us? Are we breaking up, you guys? Show's good on here, but connection is so glitchy. Okay,
All right,
hold on.
let's
Let me hold, please.
turn off your Wi-Fi.
Hold, please. The man is this better? Yes, it's better. See, it was like working good, and then it gets all iffy. Well, that's a good way. So we caught up anyways. All right, is this better? Blink once if it's better. Oh wait, that's not. Okay,
What's up, man?
hopefully that's better. Because now it's just running on that. Thought it was my own. Cool, everybody just assumed it was you the problem and not us the problem. It was us the problem. Hopefully that's better. Okay. Yeah, you should keep up on yours since mine keep going away. He's gonna pull it back. Okay. Okay, it's better. Cool. The next line of responses are from you, Heather, and I.
So did anybody hear what we said, or did we just break up everything?
I think they heard We're good. It was mainly just us trying to catch ourselves up, anyways. Sorry, I'm late. Vacation time. Everything is slow. Hey, Morgan, no worries. We're just going through. Okay, these next line of assumptions totally cracked me up. I kind of assumed y'all were cool because one kid was dreaded and the other kid was wearing a Mata shirt.
That's awesome.
I died. It's like, see, exactly. We've got this together. Then I saw the chicken pen built against a hill and I was relieved. Yep. I assumed that Brandon was pretty uncomfortable in the
Bingo.
This one I think is an interesting one that might have to be a podcast topic. It says, my daughter heard you say obey your husband once. She assumes you all are fundamentalists. But what cracked me up is we get that a lot as people go, oh, well, you're just a bunch of fundamentalists. And I'm like, I don't really think that's how we view ourselves. But then I looked it up just to see, I'm like, okay, what is the core box of fundamentalists? And I looked it up and that's what I meant to have to read. And it's on my phone. So maybe we'll just do a podcast out of it. But then I was reading it. I'm like, okay, at the core of being a fundamentalist, all of us as Bible believing Christians should be fundamentalists.
Right.
What is this here in this core that you would disagree with? So then I get it's the culture and the things that have come from that. But it's like, if by fundamentalists you mean we read God's word and we apply it literally to our lives and we live by it, then yes, absolutely call us a fundamentalist. Most of the time it's people just trying to say you take things too seriously. I love the world, so I don't care what the Bible says is the norm.
It's not like
of what
we walk
get when
around
people
and
say.
talk about obeying. Like that's not even a conversation. It's like a consistent conversation in our home. So it's
Which
not like
he hated when we did. You
like,
have to have your thing up for the comments because the comments I'm sure are going like, see, we're missing all the things. See. Yes, Travis military podcast. We have to do that. I really want to talk about that in a podcast setting. Yep, the truth is horrible to face sometimes, but seriously, we just don't want to hear it. We want to hear it makes us feel good. Yeah, and then I get like the fundamentalist movement in so many ways is ridiculous, and that's fine. But we need to do it as a podcast topic because I found so many really cool resources, and I was like, I think we need to talk about this because we get so much flack and so many like just nasty jab messages, usually from people who claim to be like progressive Christians that want to fight against everything fundamentalist, and it's like.
Yeah, and I mean, we were actually just talking. I don't know which podcast it was that we just did that I did talk about it, where I wanted to get Travis and Lex in there because some of it even though we may have slight different views on a couple issues, we still agree at the whole. of
The
the
biblical
issue.
basis
So
of
it's
it, yeah.
nice to have both sides there, though, to say, okay, well, I'm not completely where you are, but I understand
I'm
where you're
definitely
coming
also
from
not over here.
from a
Yeah.
Christian standpoint. So I think that's important.
I love the one comment. You have more than two arms because I sincerely don't know how you do all that you do.
We don't.
We don't. And we don't sleep
That's
often.
why Gina's mad at us. Right
That's
now.
why Gina's mad at me and blaming everything on me.
Possibly bed.
I don't know, probably not.
I'll figure.
Because whenever we pick up one project, it means something else has to get dumped. Progressive Christianity is not Christianity. It's wanting to live like the world.
They
and slap
just,
Jesus
yeah, I
down.
mean, that's all this. That's what most 90% of the Christianity that's out there now that you see in the world is progressive Christianity. It's just, it's insane. They're
And
applying
you're right. What are you progressing to? You're progressing to the world.
world exactly. You're just
Like my husband has two Purple Hearts, and we agree with your stance on patriotism. Again, it's talking about a biblical stance, not a worldly stance.
yeah, it's not.
Okay, so now we're going to get into some of the more serious assumptions that are floating out there. First, Haley, hold on. Haley is 20, and she walked in right as Heidi said, "You have to obey your husband," and she was like, "What is going on?" But that's something that people don't want to hear, right? People don't want to hear that as a Christian woman, you are subject to your spouse. That is showing your submission to the Lord, and people get crazy and twisted.
Yes, it is shady. Yes.
The military is shady.
And there's nobody that I don't know one military member that I know personally that will not say that exact same thing.
But if you are a good conservative Christian American, you just worship it, no questions asked.
Right. And this is like I said, this is a conversation that I've actually had again with other military. See, this is the thing. It's like my best friend, literally one of my best friends in the world, have served this country and have been not just
Highly decorated.
not just pushing papers overseas. I mean, these were front lines guys.
Mhm.
So, you know, just having the interesting conversation with them about, and actually one of them watching how it ruined his life.
Mhm.
And
And what it did to his family.
it's really, really sad. So, yeah, people just don't know our heart, just don't know my heart when I come at it. So
well, because you don't want to
whatever.
listen and go look at scripture. You just want to be like, ah.
whatever.
Yeah, Sabrina, we will totally do one with Travis. We've been wanting
It
to,
is.
but again, Brandon decided to die and like ruin the past month for everyone. So first, I am going to share assumptions about us 20 years ago.
Oh gosh.
There,
Oh no. All right.
So Lex, who is
It's
a dear friend of ours that we have been friends for 20 years. Lex and I became friends in 7th grade. Brandon and I started dating in when I was in 8th grade. So it's been a long time. She says, pretty sure I thought you were stuck up and thought you were better than everyone.
That's right.
especially me.
Jonathan is a vet too.
Yeah, Jonathan
So
is too.
yes.
So Lex said
What was it? I'm sorry.
she's pretty sure her initial assumption about me was that I was stuck up and thought I was better than everyone, especially her.
That's probably true.
No, it's not. So that was her assumption. You want to know her assumption about you?
It's probably true.
Okay, yours is probably true. She just thought you were a player.
Not anymore.
I laughed so hard, and she goes, "I get that's probably not very fitting for what you're trying to do because it was like 20 years ago." And I was like, "I don't know. I think we should still."
I think
share
it. I
because
think
that's
it'd be
hilarious."
important. I think it would be important that would people would know that.
So funny. Okay, so some assumptions we can dig into.
Okay, so both assumptions were correct.
I don't think so.
Okay, so mine was yours. You're questioning.
Okay, so you keep looking at stuff and you feel like something's out there.
There was a guy riding a bike down a road. That
That's
doesn't
weird.
happen.
You're not allowed to ride bikes down this road, people. All right, so assumption that, and we've actually gotten this one a few times.
Heidi wasn't
I
stuck.
wasn't stuck up. I just, whatever. That you think you're better than everyone else in a holier than thou, self-righteous kind of way. Heidi wasn't stuck up. I just don't deal with drama. So I'm like, okay, bye guys. I think a lot of people think this. We see this in the player turned prayer. Look at that.
Bingo.
Making a
Dude, that,
t-shirt.
there you go. I need Karen's on it.
We get this one a lot, that we think we're better than everyone else. We're like self-righteous, holier than thou type of a thing.
That's another thing that I always try to,
But it's because we stand firm
in
in
biblical
things,
truth. Yeah.
in biblical truth, and people don't like that.
Not morality damns just as much as immorality. We just read that in John MacArthur's book in that study that we did. Hi, Brandon. Good night.
Y'all did not know Brandon 20 years ago. Oh, the stories I could
I'm
tell.
sure that was sarcastic for Gina.
I know. We won't tell those stories though, because they do not do anything good.
I unfortunately have to relive my sins every day.
But yeah, I hate that people, I get where people would be like, well, you just think you're better than everyone else and you have this like holier than thou type complex. I hate that people think that. I understand why people assume that. But I'm also like, you can't stop standing in biblical truth because you don't want people to.
But I think once, obviously when people get inside and they understand that, no, that we push that off like a hot iron, because I never want.
And we've had a lot of people say that too, where they're like, hey, once I got to know you, I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, that's clearly not how you're going about this. That our marriage is perfect.
I mean, it's gotten to an enjoyable point. It's not perfect, but it's enjoyable.
Like, I think we have.
That's just from a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. We've been married for nearly 16 years. We've been together for almost 19 years.
But the Lord will bless a biblical marriage, and I mean, also we've kind of just been together and had to deal with the crappiest things together since beginning of time. So
It's
like
forever.
once you have to just go through a bunch of crap with each other,
And you're right there on the holier than thou. If you're trying to be holy, which means set apart, you won't fit in, which means you're going to come across as stuck up and holier than thou when we are just trying to be holy. Exactly. We don't talk about the striving to live righteously, I don't think, very often. So then when you are living righteously, people are like, oh, look at you. What it's like, we all should be doing this. Like, we all should look different. We've never been people that are going to like air our dirty laundry and like bash each other online and like do those types of things, just social media and stuff like that. Anyways, we definitely stick together in those things. And I think, our lack of never being that type, people think that everything's just perfect because we're not going to be dramatic and put all our stuff out there. Never have. Our marriage, but I'm also not going to apologize for having a good marriage. I love our marriage. He's my best friend.
We don't have a problem.
Like,
so
I think it isn't perfect by any means.
Yeah, I just yelled at her the other day.
He did. He kicked me out of his walk yesterday. I thought it was so cool. He walks in the morning.
Well, that wasn't
And I was like, oh, we can be friends and we can walk. And he was like, I'm trying to do things. Can you and Lily not be driving me nuts right now? And I was like, oh, okay. Sorry.
You bring the dog with you. You bring the kids.
I don't try to bring them with me. They see me
I'm
try to
just-
go outside. And
I'm just
everybody
out there.
follows.
This one's for spree. I'm out there listening to my Will Smith CDs, just
That's
trying to enjoy my walk. And
Me and my gaggle, my posse come with me.
and I was actually running.
Yeah.
I was trying to, and then I'm like, no.
So I'm not going to apologize for having a good marriage, for loving my husband, for enjoying being with my husband, for my husband being my best
But
friend.
I was talking about in the hospital when I yelled.
He yelled at me in the hospital a lot too.
They did.
When he
Not yelled. When I say yell,
when he is cranky or stressed or hurting, I'm usually the one that he's the least
I feel
nicest to.
so bad. But you know why that is.
But I've got a thick skin, so I just stuff all those feelings down and don't ever let them see the light of day. But is our marriage perfect? No.
See, I'm just it's showing you right there.
But do we have a good marriage? I think we do have a good marriage. And I love our marriage. And I'm so glad that we have gotten through all the things we've gotten through. And I'm not going to like try to find things to air dirty laundry of like things that are awful about us so that people can feel better about themselves. What?
Everybody's cacking up to that
I
story.
wish it would keep showing me. I'm missing all the things. Yeah, we do. We work hard for our marriage and it's not easy and it's difficult. And some days we have days where things don't go very well. And at the end of the day, it's like, well, you were a sucky person today. And the other person's like, yep, and so are you. So that's okay. But he's my best friend, and we love doing all the things together. And
I like when you come with me in the morning or in the afternoon, in the evenings and stuff. And in the morning, it doesn't bother me as much. Like when you come towards like the end of it.
okay. So
And
you'll have to
but
text me
then-
like a
But then,
last lap.
but then as soon as but you and Lily started arguing yesterday, I was like, this is my walk. There's two Heidis happening in the morning right now, and I just woke up.
You know, let me add that too. 'cause
And I'm extra cranky because I am.
we'll talk about that later.
Alright.
Let me also share, living with someone with clinical depression, I understand the whole being the one they feel safe enough to be completely honest with. And I want to share, I know it's something we don't talk about very often,
And
but
that's, yeah.
Brandon has dealt with insane depression.
I've probably been clinical at points that I should have been clinical, but
And the things we've had to deal with and that I've had to change as a person and grow in the different things of dealing with a spouse that deals with depression, especially when you don't deal with depression, you don't totally understand it. Like until I ended up with postpartum depression after Virginia, I didn't totally understand it. So that
like I
helps
can't
me
understand why I feel like this, but I can't stop it.
because I never really got it. And so dealing with a spouse who does deal with depression, that definitely is a
But I'm
different
like,
thing you
one
have to-
thing that's really, really horrible. I was built with that 50-50 type thing where I have that just hardcore clinical type depression, but yet the other side of me is yelling at me, telling me like that I'm not worried about that. Like I think that's what makes it worse.
Mhm.
Because I'm like, and that's what I've even told you before. I'm like, I'm freaking out right now, but I can't help it.
Oh, look at Sherry. Your response to my marriage question the first time on Instagram checked me real quick, but changed my life and my response to things. That's why I feel bad sometimes. People ask me questions and I'm like, you're not going to like my answer. I know you're not, and please don't hate me. But I'm telling you this because this is the true answer. And it might be difficult to hear, but I say it with all love. And I know it's hard. You know, I definitely struggled. I didn't get depression. I'm totally get over yourself and shake it off. Like, I don't know what your problem is. I didn't get it. And so that's why we actually do have a depression podcast that we did with Lex, because she struggles with depression as well. And Travis and I have a lot of similarities where we're like, what's your deal? Like, you gotta just move
Well,
on.
and that's what sucks, having that both type of personalities inside of you, because you have one side that's telling you what's your problem, get up, and then you have the other side saying I can't, and it's a constant fight with yourself. It makes it worse. And here you are sitting around by duress. Yeah.
The next being that our kids are perfect.
Oh Lord.
At the same time, well, I think I do like to talk about things and discipline things and things like that with homeschool and making things work. I am not going to put my kids on blast all over the internet and just put all these things out there about them. But are my
Kids
kids
can be horrible sometimes.
we have horrible struggles with our kids.
Like
heart issues that are for real problems that have to be dealt with.
Lily is like very, very headstrong and just very, very.
She is our very classical, strong-willed
She can
child.
be.
She can be
mean,
nasty.
and she does not care. So that's really a tough one to deal with.
Listen to our depression podcast, because yes, that if you have depression, then you just haven't given something to God or whatever.
Yeah, we talk about
We
that.
discussed all of that. Yes.
Yeah.
We definitely have stuff we are dealing with our kids all the time. We try to deal with it from a biblical standpoint. Yes, my kids are kids.
That's true.
They are sinners just like we are. They are not perfect whatsoever. There are days.
And Lex, that's actually one of the things that made somebody upset that left. One of the reasons that we found out just a few days ago why somebody left was because of that very type of statement right there.
The kids can
The
be
kids
sinners,
can
yeah.
be sinners, and the kids need to be
Yeah.
blessed by the Lord as well.
So we that's very cool, Heather. Yeah, you guys like all that.
Awesome.
We have to deal with stuff with our kids. We try to do it as biblically as possible. There are days when we yell and we don't go about it the way we should. Our kids get stuff taken away. Our kids get in trouble. We have days when they don't want to do school. when they're throwing fits, when they're not treating each other nicely, when they are talking back and all of the things. But Brandon takes it very seriously that in order for us to do any line of ministry, our home must be in order. And so that gets dealt with before other things. And it gets dealt with very severely in this house because it is, it's not something we're okay with. We usually do tend more of like a gentle parenting method, but it still is serious and it gets work done and our kids get it in order even with that. Ooh, Charlotte Mason. Yes, always. I will go look that up. That is awesome. Hold on, sweetie. Yeah, strong-willed kids definitely. And I think that a lot of times we have had comments from family members that, well, you just need to give her a good spanking. You just need to do this. You just need to do that and show. And I'm like, that's not how it works. I think there's much better ways to go about these things, and that's how we deal with them. But obviously, the younger they are when you can handle it, the better life will be. And so, no, our kids are not perfect whatsoever, nor do we ever claim to. That we're just doing this to get money from people. That assumption has come through in various different forms that we are.
I'm not sure that I have ever
that
asked.
we're making this stuff up just to get money from people, to make people feel bad for us, to trick people. Yes, Sabrina, that's a great idea. How to deal with kids biblically. That is something we will work on. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, that we're just going to get rich doing this. That we don't, like, so many different assumptions that we have, like, we have tons of money and all of these things, but yet we do this to like swindle people of their money, and we're like unbiblical in the things that we do. We have a podcast discussing tithing and money and things like that. So you guys can go listen to it if you have any questions about how we look at that topic. That we're not a real church because we don't have a building, that things are done online. I have volunteered many times. We will build a steeple and put it on top of our house if that makes people feel better.
Something, man.
Yeah, do something. Did someone? Yes, someone else did say that besides your mom, Karen. Don't worry. So yes, last assumption being that we are just doing this to get people's money, and that's another thing that we would love it if God would see a way for us to make a livable income off of what we do. That would be cool. We are not going to start charging for things. So how that will work out is up to the Lord.
I don't get how working for free for people comes out to doing things for money. I don't get how that.
Yeah.
I mean,
we trust the Lord.
100% of our time is given for free.
Yep.
And I don't know how that gets to just getting money.
We share with the Lord what it is
we live
that
by faith, definitely.
we need, and we pray. And if the money doesn't show up, then it means God didn't feel we needed it.
And if we didn't have the support from the people that we had support, we wouldn't be able to do what we do.
Mm-hmm.
But that has nothing to do with getting it out. We've never asked for a dime, nor will we. And nor we're going to ever start charging for anything, for our time, for our resources, for anything. That is no. I mean, that's one thing that we have to check our pride. I have to check my pride on too, because I pride ourselves in not doing that. But then we read Paul, and he actually, that was one of his prides. He said, I pride myself in being able to provide for at no charge. But at the same time, he was like, hey, I have needs. So
yeah, and that's where it would be awesome if the work that we do in ministry would allow us a livable wage. Our bank account sits at less than $10 at most all times. So I think we've got $9. Like it usually sits about that. We don't have any secret stash of money floating around.
And because that was actually one of the things that we shared. That I mean, it wouldn't have been if it was up to me. I wouldn't have been. But the reason being is just to be so transparent.
Yeah.
I mean, is just to show what's really going on.
We wish tent making was still a need.
Yeah, I do.
Totally be tent making.
I would totally
we can make yours. And I will share, we did turn on the ads on YouTube to
Dude,
give
we've
it a
made
shot.
like $18.
I think it's up to 19.
Ooh.
I think it's up to $19. You have to make so much before they'll even pay it out, so we can't even get the $19. But
$20 a month.
I have it set on the most restrictive possible settings.
I still haven't seen anything on there.
If you guys ever see an ad though that does not line up with what you know is our beliefs, please let me know so that we can deal with that accordingly. But so far we have not seen anything, like I said, like a Post-it note commercial,
Cool.
oil, something.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was gonna say so
Every
we'll
8
have-
months we'll make $100.
Yeah,
Cool.
every 8 months we'll make 100 bucks. Exactly.
And it is funny because it's pretty much every podcast, pretty much every time Brandon talks, we get knocked down to just limited availability because our content is not suitable for most advertisers. So I'm not expecting to.
Wasn't one of the podcasts.
Pretty much every.
But I mean the one recently.
The Pink Elephant got it. Pink Elephants
Really?
got marked down as being not suitable for most advertisers.
Probably because you talked about foreskin and stuff.
Probably that makes sense. But yeah, we're not doing this just to get money from people. Yeah, that's what it says. So I have it on the most limited as far as what it will show. So there's a lot of advertisers that.
Oh gosh, our kids get on and watch stuff on these accounts. I
Yeah.
know.
But you can mark off ones like, I don't want it to be beauty related products. I don't want it to be this. I don't want it to be that. I don't want it to be that. So we marked off all the things that we could. Oh, I think I'm accidentally calling you Lex. I didn't mean to. Sorry. We tell God what it is that we need, and we
This
trust.
live had an ad? Really?
That's weird.
It's crazy.
I guess that works. I don't know. But then we trust that He will provide. I shared with Lisa actually that
I heard that on your own.
that Brandon, I saw this, he didn't say anything, and I think we should make t-shirts and mugs off of it, but I noticed when I was sitting next to him during one of our lives, he had this Post-it note, because him and I each, we write down the things that we're asking the Lord for and check them off as He provides or cross them out as He tells us no. And he wrote on this Post-it note, provide if so, strengthen if no. And I just thought that was so cool, right? Like I always say, if I don't have it today, it must be because I don't need it today, because I trust God to give me what we actually need. And there are many things we go through each day where we're sitting there going, God, please, like, do we get this? And then He's like, yep, no, you don't get that today. And we're like, oh, that really stinks. I really wanted that today. I thought I really needed that today. But I guess the answer is no. So we have to do without. And that's fine, because we didn't really need it then. And every time there's something that we really need, like I shared with you guys the story of keeping our power turned on when we were in the hospital, it magically appeared. You guys are probably legalistic and would judge others super hard without giving them the slack to be human.
That's part of the problem with the world right now. It is. You can't beat people over the head, but that's one thing if there's one thing that I am so sick of hearing, it's stuff like that. It's just people do not want to hear truth. They always will hate truth, and it doesn't matter. It will always sound legalistic and hateful. And whenever you try to talk to somebody, even if you try to do it in the most calm, loving possible way,
You're just legalistic.
you're just a legalistic hater. And really the comments that we've received on just podcast stuff,
So
it's like
nasty.
they are. And I'm like, I literally am I go about issues. I mean, yeah, I'm definitely very blunt, very upfront, and maybe make people think, but I try to go at things at the most loving, caring way in explaining why these things are.
But we're also not going to sit here and let you profess to be a Christian and
Right.
make excuses
And that's
for
what I'm saying
continuing to
is
live in
I
sin.
was
It's
in
like,
I was in the position that you were, and I wish somebody would have told me all of the things that I'm saying.
mhm.
I wish somebody would have told me, okay, you're correct about this, this, and this, but you need to stop doing this. I wish somebody would have been there for me instead of having to go through that process myself. I think it would have
Because I
saved a
knew
lot of
Christians
things.
always said certain things, but I never knew why. I never understood it. Yeah, the arrogant comments against
Yeah.
you and Travis, like, it's crazy. And just and that's what it is. People, they hated Christ, so they're going to hate us for standing in these things.
Yeah, and that just, I mean, I tend to roll my eyes when I hear that, and I usually try to still engage with it in a loving manner, But I just am like, you know what? No, that's not. Just move along.
What? I can't cheat on my husband, but Jesus freaking yeah. That's ridiculous. Okay, so this one's kind of a fun one that we've gotten from multiple people, and it is always said in the nastiest, ugliest, meant to just jab straight in and be disgusting type of a way. That I'm just a submissive doormat and that you are controlling.
Okay. I don't even know what to say to that.
That I'm not allowed to speak. I'm not allowed to have an opinion. I'm not allowed to make decisions. You control me because I ask you the things that you like when I wear.
I mean,
there's so many of them.
Like, there was a point maybe in my life where that was true for a period of time, but I was also like a teenager and maybe like mid-20s.
Well, and it's so funny because I try to be focused and put myself in check because I am the least like naturally submissive person ever. And I have destroyed a great deal of our marriage because that independent, strong-willed, on my own, whatever is
my family actually believed the opposite, believe it or not. They thought that I let Heidi.
Oh yeah.
So like my personal family, doesn't that show you how in the reality what it's really like?
Yeah.
Because my family, my brothers, when everything got not Mike was the only one that was not in this, but all the other brothers, when it got pretty ugly, it was pretty much like, well, you just let Heidi run everything.
Yeah,
she
Heidi
controls
wears the pants
you.
in
Heidi
your
wears
family.
the pants in your family.
We've had the assumption that Brandon's abusive before.
Oh yeah, her mom seriously thought that I hit her.
Yep. Never. I've given him a black eye before.
Yeah, and I've laid one finger on your chest before.
My collarbone.
Yeah, no, it's right here in the middle of your chest.
What do I know?
It bruised because I was really, really mad at her.
And you went like that.
And I went like that.
I bruise easily. It's really getting worse.
And that was when we were
teenagers. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Mike's laughing. Yeah, it's so funny, the stuff that that people think and get this from. Yeah, where do people get this from? Have they ever watched your videos or your interview? No, they see or hear one thing and then go off with these crazy things, and it's like, am I a doormat? I think that's the least likely.
And and that can be further from the truth that I'm also let Heidi wear the pants in the family too. I mean, most of the time I do just because it saves argument. But if it's something that I really care about,
But I feel like the things that I'm the one who organizes and puts together and do the things, like people just assume, well, we know you run the show and it's your house and whatever. It's like, I do the things that I know he likes and he wants to have. And the moment that I'm doing something that he's not a fan of, he's like, hey, hold the phone. You need to rein that, back in here. But yeah, I take care of all of the things because I'm a keeper at home. That's what I do. But I'm doing the things that he likes. And when I'm out of place, he calls me out real quick. Like, I used to tease that Heidi kept Brandon locked in the basement. Yeah. Yeah, and I wear what my husband likes most of the time because who else do I want to please? Hello.
Well, now she does. I mean, that's
why
really
I'm sharing and doing that. Well, yeah. But that's why, like I shared, I need to figure out trying to transition into winter clothes and warmer weather clothes. And I was like, I need to talk with you about what what you want and whatever. But if you let Heidi wear the pants, then you are still using your authority that Heidi can do this. That is being to help me. Exactly. But that, that's where it's like, there are certain things like I've shared with you guys when it comes to finances. Okay. He usually stays out of all, and he's like, I trust you to go and do the things I know you need to do. But if he feels strongly about something, he'll be like, hey, that money we just got, it needs to go to this person, or it needs to go to that, or whatever.
And I used to do all the finances. Mm-hmm. I used to do all of that. And then I was just like, one time I was just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. You do it all. This. But also we've been together since we were kids before you know what the role 14, of a man and a woman is before. I mean, you're at that point,
at 14
you don't know 17. Any of that. You're friends at that point, and that never changed. Like we grew up kind of together in that. So it was never, it was just never an issue. It was just weird. It was just like, hey, you got money? You need to pay for this. I don't got any with me. You know,
Hey, you
like
have
vice
money, I need
versa.
new
Like,
shoes.
hey, I need this.
He used to take
Yeah.
me back to school shopping when we were teenagers in high school. He
I
always
did,
worked and
actually.
made money, and he would take me back to school shopping. He paid for my school lunch all the time.
You did.
All the things, yeah. It's
But-
silly.
Whatever. People are gonna say things.
Well, and that's kind of the last assumption we have here, unless you guys have any you want to add. But this overall feeling and idea that people have, some have kind of come out and said it, and some it's just kind of like that beating around the bush, you know what they're getting at. That we're liars who are faking everything so that people don't judge us because no one really lives this way. And that's the whole reason.
That's why we try to be as transparent as possible.
Why we're as transparent. Nothing is off limits. We talk about everything. And that's why I started doing the homeschool vlogs, because I felt like I would try to answer so many of these questions about homeschool. And people were like, do you really do that?
I
How
will.
does that work?
We'll
And I'm
take.
like, I'll
we will
just show you
take
what I do.
You know, we'll take screenshots of our bank account and just post it inside the. Say, like, look, you want to. Okay.
I think we have like.
Yeah. So that's funny.
Yeah, it's, you know, and I get that a lot of assumptions usually come from people's own insecurities and own things that they're dealing with. And that's where I think it was so cool to share, because many of these assumptions are ones that, you know, you guys sent in or you have had or thought at some point, not all of them, you know, but we get these things, but then so often, praise God, a message is followed by, I was so wrong. Like, I'm sorry. I just jumped to conclusions and thought that that's what you guys were about. And that's the whole reason why we never wanted a internet platform or to put our lives out there, to have some kind of like YouTube popularity.
I didn't.
He didn't really at all. And if we wanted
really did.
to be popular on YouTube, we would do things much differently, because if we did things differently, we could have a huge platform and make a lot of money and really sell ourselves to the system and get paid for it. But that's not what we want to do, and that's not what we're ever going to do. And that's why things will continue to remain, you know, as they do, I'm sure. But God's got it, and that's who we trust. And if we can serve one person, then that's what we're here to do. And you're right about something. Like sometimes he will come up and be like, do, you know, whatever it is. And it's like, oh, wow, you're like for real with that. But we work on all the things. Yeah, I can't wear the pants. I wear dresses. And that's very true, Lisa. We're supposed to keep each other accountable. Sometimes I need a loving kick in the butt. We all do. And that's what's so amazing. We have to have that.
Thank God we have your brother here to remind you
Oh
every day.
gosh, he's so. My mom did the whole submissive wife thing, and it drove my dad nuts that she kept asking him for this
Yeah.
and that. And he said, "Look, I married you, and I knew your capabilities. If I help you to deal with it."
Exactly.
My husband would love for me to do the finances, but I'm afraid I'll bankrupt us. We're partners in all of the things that we do. Sherry, you guys are so nice. It's so sweet getting
Yeah.
to catch up. I don't know why it keeps cutting off and not doing that.
Good.
Yeah, I've told you guys before that I know God brought you in my path for certain reasons, and I'm glad. Thank you for you both. You guys
Aw,
are so
thank
kind
you.
and so sweet, and that's what it is. I think everybody should be skeptical
Good.
when they first come to us.
Absolutely. And
We're talking about biblical things. You need to be a Berean. You need to weigh the words you
and
say against God's
in the
word.
amount of people that we've had come be upfront with us that have
Mhm.
said that, hey, look, I'm skeptical. You know, my husband's worried about what I'm getting into, different things like that. I mean, praise God that you have that
Be
type of discernment.
discerning. Yeah.
And pray and be thankful that you have a spouse or somebody that cares about you that much that they're worried about what you're getting into and you're not getting into some kind of crazy nonsense.
Yeah.
Because that's very easy to do
Some
in the
weird
world of the
Jewish cult.
internet. That's why it's so rough. You know, I guess that's another reason for transparency, because it's so rough to be like, it's understandable to know that that people take advantage of people,
Oh,
and
yeah.
especially in the religious circles. I mean, you could just be a fraud in any way.
Send me $100 today, and your blessing will be on the way.
Yeah, and I mean, if this was what it was all about, I would start selling like prayer rags and stuff.
Oh my gosh, we could make so much money if we wanted to like sell out.
I mean,
into
it's
that.
just, I don't know. That's just why the transparency, because just trying to show everybody, hey, look, we're being, our hearts, our lives are out and open to everybody, just to
Ooh.
show you we're serious.
Husband has an assumption that we are messianic. You're right. That's another big
that's
one
what we
that
were just
kind of
mentioning,
falls
I think it's
into
before.
Torah observant, messianic, something along those lines. And for us, we're like, I wouldn't identify with any of those things. I think it's just looking at scripture again, where we have gone in Christianity so far to remove all things Jew. And when you read it, you're like, but that's not.
Yes, I'm
what
very.
it
I'm happy that you and Mike Tiff are both. It just seems like your relationship's becoming a lot stronger after what's happened, and it seems like you guys are growing closer as friends, and that's just so awesome to
We
see
just love you
too.
guys.
Not saying that you never were, but
you just
it's
grow
just you can
closer.
see. I can see a true friendship and love.
I love that. My
developing.
husband was skeptical but didn't tell me. He kept watching and now loves you
That's
guys. That's
awesome.
awesome. And we've been seeing more and more of
Thank
that.
him for that.
Because usually it is usually the women first who fall into something, and the men
Sure.
tend to come in after. And it's been so cool to see
And that's
so many.
and that's biblical that this
It
will
is.
happen on and capture weak women
Mm-hmm.
and they will be it's such a lost sheep moment for a lot of women that they just go and they hunger for truth and they just get wrapped up in these
things that
either
aren't true.
movements or cults or whatever else, and
Just false teachings in general, false
that's
teachers.
again why our heart is
Exactly why us women have to be so careful. But to
Yeah,
see now these
amen.
praise
That's
reports
very true.
of husbands whose hearts are softening, who are coming more and getting more involved. And that's why Brandon says, we know that we get to talk with you women quite often, but the guys can always reach out anytime, like to Brandon, like even if they want to do the Marco Polo, like and talk with him and chat with him or text, call, whatever, like always available.
But that's why I went through, maybe I'll go through it again, but the whole book of Jude, and just explaining, I mean, we need to go through Peter too, but just explaining how these things just come into the church and capture these people and leads them
And it's
just down a
usually the
path,
women.
and it's usually the women first. So that was, I don't know, I think the Lord gave me a platform to speak, to be able to capture to that, for that very purpose in some ways, because if that's one thing that I always want to stress, that you guys have got to be discerning with everything, because a woman can lead her husband into this. There's so much things that can happen.
Yeah, and I think it takes time. I think a lot of the husbands are probably sick of hearing about us, and I totally get it. And all of those things take time, as you continue. And I've shared with you guys, Brandon was not. I used to go to church and take Travis because I thought that's what I needed to do. And Brandon wouldn't want to hear a thing about it when I got home. And when I would get him to come, he usually had 9 million not nice things to say. And it's funny now because knowing what we know now and growing spiritually where we have, he was totally spot on. And I was just
Exactly,
trying
Lex.
to do the things, and I was getting caught up into that. Like Lex said, that's why the Jehovah's Witnesses started coming when they knew Travis was at work. That's why those things happen.
My goodness.
Oh gosh, now we've got a troll on
Mhm.
here. Lead by example on both parts. What did you want?
I was just going up.
But don't take his previous skepticism personally. He's skeptic about everything. Before he met me, he thought all women are guilty until proven innocent. You know what? That's probably honestly a good rule of thumb to follow. Can you make that?
I can't because I'm not logged into yours.
Oh, wait, sorry, I guess I'm trying to make that go away real quick, and I don't really know how to do it.
Oh, you got it.
Did I? Okay. Anyways, weird. A year ago, my husband had a hard heart, his anger towards religion, but now he has been renewed. Moving mountains is possible. Absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, just people comment in the comments sometimes. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, whenever you guys see weird stuff like that.
And I don't think a meth cookbook would be good at all. I mean,
In our town, it probably would.
I mean, yeah, here it'd be great.
But this is why we created, I know a lot of people don't like Facebook. We hate Facebook. I despise it. But this is why we created a Facebook group to do the church lives in. Because on here, anybody can come join in and start posting crazy things like that person just did. And sometimes we get vulgar things
That's
and stuff
exactly
like that.
why we have the face group. Yeah. This is why, it's because I wanted people to be able to, share things
Be
and be
safe
vulnerable.
and be able to talk and not have crazy people jumping at terrible cookbooks.
Yeah, it's a horrible cookie.
So yeah, if you guys ever, we try to keep an eye on this as we go. Yeah, it's good. It's removed now. But if you ever are watching and you see some weirdo come in and say stuff, feel free to remove and report or whatever, because people are crazy. crazy. But anyways, I think those were all of our assumptions, unless you guys had any other crazy assumptions about us. And I think it's neat to see that some people do come in and they think these like bananas things about us. We're out of
Or
touch
I
with this
think
and that.
people have the poverty gospel. They get that from
Oh,
us too.
that's a good one, that we
That's the
think
one.
that you must be,
Be
poor
poor.
and give everything away in order
Right.
for God to
to
bless you.
Correct.
Yeah.
We get that.
I think
Minimalism is a result.
minimalism is a result
And,
of biblical living.
unfortunately, usually struggles with finances usually comes along with that
Mhm.
because
And so I think that it's definitely a result of biblical living and something that, especially us in
no, it's so
American
sweet, Sherry.
Christianity, are on the other side of, where we have so much excess and we don't care to give any of it up. And again, when we read about the rich men trying to enter the kingdom of heaven, look at the realities of people all around the world.
Mhm.
Our cultures, America, England, we are the rich ones. You may not feel like you are rich, but we are.
I
the rich
shared
ones.
with it just like, well, I don't remember which podcast it was this week, but talking about Zacchaeus being, a chief tax collector and being wealthy, and the fact of what he did, he ended up giving half of not only his possessions but his money. If he defrauded anybody, he paid them back. And that's what it took for a rich man, a wealthy man, to enter the kingdom of heaven and to have that type of attitude and the humility that he brought to the table is just very, very difficult for most rich people to do. Can you imagine, Mark Zuckerberg giving, half of his wealth away, literally half of his wealth, after coming to Christ and, paying anybody back that's insane. Or I guess for a Christian example, can you imagine Trump doing this? That's
Yeah.
what I think I made the example in. So
You're right, Lisa. We all need a God Fund Me account, and that's what living by faith is.
that's exactly what
We
living by
trust
faith is
the
a God
GodFundMe,
Fund Me account.
yeah.
Amen.
Yeah,
That wasn't a bad auto. That was a good one.
you have to go to the heart. Are you willing to give
Right.
up half your income?
Right. It doesn't. It's not necessary that you do that, but if you pull your heart there, and usually that type of result will just happen. You'll feel that's what a rich.
Why do I
man-
need this?
Why do
am
I
holding
need
on
this?
to this?
There's poor people
You
out
need
there.
it. Here, take
And
it.
Jesus tells us to go. So look, boom, I have this and you don't.
Let me give it to you. And
Yeah,
then
it's
you
where
have it.
your heart is. And it's not that it's necessary, but it's usually a result off of what happens after coming to Christ. I think that's where we as Christians can judge spiritual fruit real quick. You say people say that they've come to Christ, and then you just really monitor the fruit that's coming from it. Are they continuing to live like the world? Or are they having this radical transformation? Like, I got to get rid of all of this. Why do I need it?
And that's why
Not saying that that's required in every
no, but that's
scenario,
where
but
it's hard. Like, you go to hang out with friends or
I was
family,
walking and you're all wearing my pocket.
and all they want to talk about are the things of this world, and yet you start talking about
Right.
things in a biblical scope, and people get quiet real quick and walk away. And it's like, that's why nobody hangs out with us. That's why none of our family hangs out and wants to talk with us, right? Because we're like always, we talk about this stuff every day. That's why, even before the podcast, before anything, like, this is what we talk about every day with our kids, with one another, with all of this stuff. And so when people come over and all they want to talk about is remodeling their house or what movies are coming out or whatever the things are, it's like, yeah, we like things and enjoy things sometimes too, but that's not where our heart and our focus and our attention and our resources and all of our effort is going to. And so when you do turn around and go upstream.
Yeah, now that out of touch comment may be true because it's too busy to be worlding.
But shouldn't, yes, we do have very small, there are some, but that's, yeah, you go help the hubby, hun. But that's so cool. Look at helping the kids learn to cook. But that's what is so big. As followers of Christ, we all should be out of touch with the realities of this world because we don't touch them. We are out of them. We are not a part of it. We are here, but not a part of it. That's really cool.
So I was walking for.
So anyways, you guys go. Is there any other, I think we've pretty much covered up everything. I know we've gone for
still
like
10
way
people
longer
on.
today. This has been fun.
Yeah,
I
it
like
was.
doing this is why I
We
want
held
to do
y'all
this for a
hostage
while.
for an hour and a half.
Well, and now tomorrow afternoon, that
gonna
video
hold
by
it.
Simply Charlotte Mason and Strong Willed, I think you'll like it. Yes, I have to remember that. will you maybe like Instagram it to me or something later so I don't lose it? That would be super cool. If you have it or could get to it. If not, I will try to remember. That's
Today's
really cool.
Saturday.
Okay, so today is Saturday. Brandon is starting a Romans. I'll just share again, share at the beginning, but Brandon is starting a Bible study through the book of Romans. So that went up today. You guys can go check that out.
Thank you, Sabrina.
He loves that book. You have no idea. And then tomorrow at noon Eastern time, come join us in our Facebook group for home church for our Bible service. That's just go on Facebook and then, yes. Okay. And then I'll share on Instagram. Oh, thank you. And then, and you guys go follow her account on Instagram as well is Sodbuster Living. I love her. And, okay, so Sunday, come follow us. Just go on Facebook and search up AP Home Church. We're all on there. And come join us for church tomorrow. We're going through 1 Corinthians. So come join us for that, which
5 and 6 tomorrow.
5 and 6 tomorrow. Our church services are a little bit longer, but we are having fun and we are studying and we love doing it with you guys. Monday, I've got a video going up for the Heavenly Minded Homemaker. Again, just digging into all of these things that we're learning and doing and all of that stuff. And then Brandon is going to try to get back on his Asama day as he's feeling better bit by bit. So hopefully you guys will see those coming up. We did post one kind of
out of place, but it was just had to get, it went along with it.
He's going to get back on track with those. And then we should be back on track with homeschool vlogs as I am getting all of those back together. Brandon's got some more podcasts coming out. Wednesdays, he is going through John MacArthur's book, Christ's Call to Reform the Church. So he's going to be reading through those and just talking about reforming the church every Wednesday. If you guys come listen
And
in
showing
on
y'all
those.
that it's not just me that's saying all these crazy things about this.
Yes, come join us. Seriously,
it's a
all of
very
you are
different
welcome.
type of church.
Yes.
Yes.
Wednesday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern, we are doing our prayer gathering each week. So at time, you guys always send us your prayer requests to ap.prayerrequest@gmail.com.
Yes, Karen got the book and Sabrina has the book. I'm totally stoked now that
Yeah.
they got it.
Yep. And I've the link to it's on the thing. You guys can listen to our podcast on everything like Google Play, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud. We're trying to put on all the things. There's like a million different places. So it's on all of those podcasty things. And then we just post them on our YouTube for those who want to do
We
that.
didn't realize that we had so many people that watched us in Spotify.
We
We were
had
like,
Spotify,
wow.
we had like all these things.
We were
like,
like really surprised. I had no idea that we had.
because we're not in
We
it
don't-
for the
yeah, we
numbers.
don't care.
So
We
we don't
just-
check those
So how
types
you
of
pulled
things.
it up and
I
was
needed
just
the
like, holy
link
cow.
for something I was updating on our website. And so I pulled it up and it was like, all these things. And we were like, oh my gosh, we had no idea that there were like all these people. Ooh, yeah, go check out the Randy Alcorn books there at the library. But seriously, Wednesdays at 8, come join us for a prayer gathering. If you have prayer requests, please always send them in. That was so much fun. We loved it. Saturday, here we do the live.
Yeah, that
Sunday,
prayer meeting was awesome.
prayer gathering was awesome. And then Sundays for Bible service. And then cool content I think that we're working on to get out. And for everybody who uses our free homeschool plans, month 3 is coming. As soon as I can possibly get it done, I will not sleep for the next few days, I am sure.
Abby
Abby
listens
listens to
to
Spotify.
Spotify.
Hey,
That's
Abby. Totally Against Harry Potter. Okay, so maybe Totally Against Harry Potter, but J.K. Rowling did give a ton of her money away to people who really
No,
needed
she
it.
did, and that actually I'm against Harry Potter too, but I've actually seen a couple things about Rowling too. There's actually a couple outlets that are okay with it that I don't. It's hard for me to argue with it. What their points on it are. I think it just depends on the discernment of your child, really. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really into it either.
Not like a blanket, like, hey, it's cool, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to be, I'm working on an email for some counsel. I wanted to reach out and then Brandon almost died. So I'm wondering if he's feeling better. Oh my gosh.
Sure.
He's alive now. So
I'm
you
fine. I'm
guys
good.
reach out, drive him nuts, give him stuff to do. We have some kind of big things that Brandon and I getting out of the hospital started discussing and we're feeling pretty strongly about that we honestly just haven't had the time to get to yet. So hopefully we'll get to work on that stuff soon and share it with you all kind of in full detail as we do with keeping everything transparent. You guys know everything about our lives. I think if all of you came over to our house, like you could like help yourself in the kitchen and know where everything's at.
It won't be. It
Do all the
won't be
stuff.
a surprise to anybody.
No, it won't. But you guys would be like, oh, obviously, I'm not surprised at all with you guys. Of course, that's what you're doing.
Mm.
But I think that's all the things as far as Lord willing, what we are trying to get to and work on. Yeah,
I
but
don't know. Probably forget.
you guys reach out. Oh, we have the Marco Polo. I love using that with you guys. It is so much fun. Brandon even like getting to counsel and go back and forth. So if you guys ever, it's like video messaging.
Yeah, I actually get on that every now and then.
Yeah,
I know. I think it is pretty cool.
it is. Cool.
It is pretty cool to be able to. It's weird at first. You're talking to a camera, but then you can see that the other person is watching you.
Yeah.
So that's like, okay, well, that's cool because at least I'm talking. I don't feel like I'm talking just to a camera. I actually feel like I'm talking to a person, which
It's
I
like
am.
a fun fellowship.
Yeah, it is really neat.
Tool, since we can't. You all are welcome to come live on our property. Absolutely, like we would love that. We recommend that. But I get if your parents already.
I mean, if we have enough people here, we will make you guys a church, and we will. You guys
We
will be
actually
able
have a
to actually
building.
say that we have a building.
We have a building that we could easily put a steeple on and make a for real like Little House on the Prairie church. So just saying.
Yeah,
y'all
I mean,
come
we
over,
could turn
we
the
could do
barn into a church, no
We could
problem.
totally do it.
So,
Might be some chickens that like to hang out in there, but it's cool. Our chickens are fun.
and the whole back of it's open to just the beautiful trees in the
It
back
really
there,
is
so
really pretty.
we wouldn't even need to have a back wall of the church.
No, I leave it open. Let God paint our landscape. You know how churches they like design their backgrounds now on their stages.
Yeah, ours would
We
just
wouldn't-
be a
ours
big
would just be
fat
natural.
open.
That would be really fun. Love Marco Polo. That would be like if any of you want to connect, you just need my cell phone number, which I'm going to give out publicly on YouTube for all of the crazies. But if you message me, I will happily send it to you. Not going to share that on here, but that would be super cool to.
Yeah, so if anybody has like a question for me or anything on there, you can also send it because I don't do it personally, but
Yeah, we sent one.
send it to Heidi and
Karen, why do you think I was asking if you guys would ever leave New York?
I know.
I was like, I have so many ideas. Armando, please help me.
Armando, please open. Yeah, just
Um,
send it to Heidi.
Do our videos there.
That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, we totally would. Yeah, that's exactly it. We'll still be the online part of it. But actually having a building, I mean, it's not. I wouldn't ever say no.
We are constantly
Let's have
inviting
a
people.
tabernacle.
Yeah, we're constantly inviting people to come over and to do stuff with us. And our family never wants to show up or anyone local, but we always have that out there. And that's why some of you, we're in Western North Carolina. If any of you are ever in the area, seriously, you are always welcome in our home. And we mean that like for real serious. So take us up on the offer.
Yep.
All right, guys, we will not hold you hostage any longer. but
Hour and a
this is
half,
fun.
good job. And then tomorrow, probably another couple hours.
But
Sorry.
seriously, come join us tomorrow. And
Yes.
if anybody,
Yes, she did
there's
find
an
those
old
tiny
warehouse
house
for
kits.
selling that
Those are
for
really
me.
cool.
Yeah, tiny house kits everywhere. Whatever, we can
Hint,
make it
hint.
work. What was I gonna say? We looked into. You actually don't even have to have the ordination to set up the church stuff, and there's a lot of that as far as filing for
Yeah,
the
we
actual
still
tax
can.
exempt status. It's like thousands of dollars to even file. So we've
Mhm.
just never had the cash sitting around that we
Yes.
thought would be worthwhile to spend on that versus giving to someone else or using to keep our electricity.
Yeah, because it was something that we discussed.
We wanted to do this past
to
year.
actually do it, but then
It's so expensive.
I mean, I wouldn't say no to the idea.
I'd like to do it. We just haven't
if
had
we
the
just
provisions
hasn't
to
had
do
the
so.
opportunity to do so yet. But yeah, so we definitely would like to do so, and that's more so just going in compliance kind of with the world. Just saying okay and doing the thing. So some people that aren't completely spiritually discerned don't get offended and all like, oh, that's not real.
And that opens the door for then that's where you have like in California where you got the letters going out. Hey, now you
that's
have
true
to do
too,
this.
and I will
Now you
never.
have to do
You will
that.
see me in handcuffs before you will ever see that happen.
So that's where it's like, well, what are you gonna do? So we did look into it though at the beginning of this year. We were going to, and then we saw how much money it cost, and we're like, oh, we have no money.
I
So
didn't realize it
that's
was
not
that much,
gonna
so
work.
that's not gonna happen.
like to pull together a few $100, like that was one thing, and then we saw thousands, and we were like, oh, so about that. But come and join us for church. We'd love to have you all there. And if you cannot make it at noon on Sundays for that, or even at 8 on Wednesdays for prayer gathering, they stay up on
Yeah.
the page. So
And
can
you guys are
always
doing an
catch
awesome
up.
job with going. I cannot believe how you guys go back and watch those. That's awesome. That's really cool.
So, all right, guys, we're going to let you go and enjoy your Saturdays. We need to go get our kids fed, and I need to go write curriculum before Gina's kids are like showing up at my house with a. Ooh, unless
I'm
that would
intermittent
get your
fasting,
kids to
so,
show
like,
up with your
My
pitchfork.
fasting is.
Is your fasting window over yet?
Oh, I got 20 minutes before I can eat.
And so, oh, and Karen, thank you. I have to go to the store because she blessed us with some supplies. So I have to go do that probably here pretty soon. I don't have a watch on. I don't know why I looked at my wrist. But bye, you guys.
Bye,
Enjoy
guys.
your
Thank
Saturday. Thank you all so much for blessing our families and all that you do. And reach out. How can we counsel you? How can we help? How can we love? How can we pray? How can we serve you? So anytime, don't have crazy assumptions about us. Just come talk to us. And we're here at all times. It's your fault my kids love your curriculum. I'm so glad that they love it. That's way cool. All right, guys.
All right,
We'll
bye,
see
guys.
you next time.
Bye.